Hey everyone, it's Angus here. I've traded this stock a couple of times now. It's Energy One on the Australian ASX, and it's had a pretty nice run. It's up around 188% over 12 months. So let's just double check that. 165% say over the last 12 months. But from that low just before the last earnings, you can see it's sitting on around about a 210% type return. And, the last earnings, was okay. It's sort of, nice steady rise off that, big jump off this lot of earnings. The next lot of earnings are still a little way away, but I've had a fairly good run of it, and it's sort of a bit too early for me to re-enter. Like it's sort of settling around this, let's say this $13.50 type support area, and so I don't want to enter it yet because I really do, rather than trying to time the bottom, I really do want to wait until it maybe turns around and possibly breaks through that $14 mark. That might be a good signal for me to re-enter. And you can see it's tried to hit it a couple of times, but it hasn't really broken through and run very far. So what I want to do instead is I do like to use things like the RSI and the MACD just because lots of other people also look at them. And so what I actually want to do is I'm going to wait to enter this stock for when the MACD breaks above its signal line, when the MACD breaks above that slower moving average. And so to set an alert on that, all I do is I right click on this area here and I go add alert on MACD, and I'm going to say so EOL is the symbol. The condition is the MACD crossing up through the MACD signal, and the interval is 1 day. So I'm going to say only once. And then I'm going to have a look down here. It's an open-ended alert, so that's good. I think that's just because I'm a premium user, and if you're not a premium user, it might only last 30 days or something like that. But it's super simple. So I'm pretty sure I've got it right. So MACD. Oh, and it says the histogram, so I don't want that. I want the MACD crossing up through the signal line. So I want the blue line to cross up through my orange line is what I'm looking for, and I think I've got that correct. I'm going to say EOL MACD crossing. And so I just need to keep it very simple. Notifications, notifying the app, show toast. I don't use the app, but show toast notification. Don't know what that is. Send email, which is the main thing I'm interested in, and play a sound. So if I'm online, I'll hear a little thin, sound. And so I'm pretty happy with all that. So I'm going to go create. And so that'll mean that, when this does cross over, I don't have to watch this anymore. Like it will just sit there and until something happens, then I'll get an alert. You can start to see like it's coming down to what I think is a value area. And, when it gets down to sort of around this mark, often it, it starts to move up again. And then, when it hits this sort of area here, momentum starts to slow a bit, I guess. But the main thing I'm looking for is a crossover on that MACD. And hopefully that tells me that it's back at a value area and it might start to run again. So I'll keep an eye on it and see how we go. Thank you for listening. Oh, and sorry, last thing very quickly, if I want to see what my alerts are, I just click on that little clock and you can see these are all your alerts here, and you can edit them and change them, and you can delete them and you can change the settings. You can click on that and pause all, delete all. There's ways to sort them and filter them, but I just like to keep it very simple. So hopefully that helps someone. But you can do that with any of your indicators. So you don't have to necessarily set alerts on price. You might set alerts on change of momentum, or when the RSI hits a certain value, or if you use Fibonacci, or any of the other millions and millions of indicators out there. You can certainly set alerts when something happens just as easily. Thank you.